In this module, we'll be discussing about how can we make our admission processes more inclusive to welcome students with specific learning disabilities on our campus. More than often, we realize that students with disabilities, invisible disabilities, face a challenge when it comes to transitioning from school to colleges. And the main gatekeeping issue over here is the entrance exams. Right now, the regulatory bodies and also the National Testing Agency guidelines have become very inclusive to welcome students on higher education institutes. Starting with the UGC guidelines, they focus a lot on transitioning and supporting students from school to colleges and also graduation to post-graduation. And how are they doing this? They're trying to provide this support throughout the admission processes by making them as accessible as possible, which would be their processes, the application format, you being able to get the right kind of accommodation and support during writing your examinations. They also provide counseling supports, including induction and orientation, and they focus that post-admission you do conduct a need-based assessment that helps you understand what are the specific requirements in terms of accommodation and support that a student with disability needs to thrive on the campus. And last but not the least, there are enough scholarships and schemes to support the transition and also the learning journey of the student on campus. AICTE guidelines are in consonance with the UGC guidelines as ever, and they focus on promoting admissions of students with SLD under the PWD category, streamlining the entire admission process and providing the accommodation for students, and also giving them scholarships and sponsorship throughout their disability support unit. Coming to NTA guidelines, these are one of the most crucial currently to help the transition of students. They clearly call out for accommodation like providing scribes, readers, lab assistants, giving extra time to students under the PWD category. They also provide them with the options of choosing the mode if and when possible, which is online or offline. Compensatory time we already know is provided, use of assistive devices, and also keeping in mind the seating arrangement which can be preferential for these students, as we have already discussed in our past modules that how your environment also can create overstimulation for students with SLDs. Reading material is always provided in accessible formats, and there is alternative objective questions in lieu of subjective questions. We have to keep in mind that when the regulatory bodies and NTA guidelines were put in place, these accommodations were to help students and support them perform better and not take away from the rigor of the entrance exams. In the following video, we'll look at the journey of one of our successful champions through admissions, how they selected their college, what college they preferred for, what was the entire system of having to decide which higher education institute to opt for.
After 12th, when you actually choose your career options, and I had an option to choose art and everything else. So I did give my art exam, and I was in Mumbai at that time, and JJ School of Arts is like one of the prestigious colleges in arts, and I did their entrance exam. I actually got admission. But then when I was, doing that exam and coming out of it, I felt like, no, this is not what I want to do as a career, because this is my safe place. I want to keep it safe and, go whenever I want to kind of go there. It's not something I want to do as a career. And I always loved inventing. The invention was not that I was kind of building Legos or breaking out things and making things out of it. It was more that I was inventing things for myself. So I was inventing how do I kind of figure out left and right? How do I figure out these and these? It was like every day I had to kind of figure out a trick to kind of navigate everything that I had to do in the world. And I thought maybe if I could use that to do better for others, that would be different. It'll kind of be a game changer. And the reason, as you kind of rightly mentioned, the only reason I chose the engineering college which I chose was because it was close to my house. It was in 1 kilometer radius, and through the school and college I had kind of created a system around me that I have to spend that extra hour to kind of read, I have to spend that extra hour to kind of color the formula. I had this whole colored math book. My math book was more colorful than my art book actually. So I had all these things extra that I had to do, which I had to spend time. And if I had to spend time commuting, I wouldn't I would just be tired doing that. And that's how I got into choosing engineering and then getting into that.